Are you married, and if so, how long have you been married?
I am married, and I've been married for, let's see, 1993, 18 years. Be 19 years this July.
Nice. Do you have any children, and if so, how many?
I do. I have 2 children, a daughter and a son. My daughter's in 5th grade, my son's in 3rd grade.
Do they go to this school, or MS 8075?
No, they don't.
Okay. What were you like in actual middle school?
I wasn't good at sitting still. I was engaged. I was a good student as far as academics, but I needed to get up and move around. I loved the hands-on projects. I loved to be able to talk with my friends and stuff like that about problems and things like that. I was on the track team and the basketball team and the soccer team. So I certainly was always moving after school. Just during school, that if the teachers didn't allow me to move a little bit, it was tough for them.
Mm-hmm. Did you always want to be a principal?
No. As a matter of fact, I said that 2 things I said I would never do in my life. I would never live in Florida, and I would never work in a public school. And I became a science teacher in Florida. So both of those things. So you always got to be careful for what you wish not to happen, because it seems to happen.
What college did you go to, and what degree did you get?
Well, I went to several. I went to Illinois State University for my undergrad, and I got a degree in electronics. Had a great time, doing research. Did some research for NASA, and it was during that time when I was doing that I was working with people who were, hanging up napkins when we'd go out for dinner and things like that. With all these different ways to solve different problems with the space shuttle and things like that. And it was just like, I want to be that passionate about something. So I went back and took some post-bac work in wildlife biology down at Arizona State University. There is where I started working at the Phoenix Zoo, started learning to become an educator. And then I moved to Florida, went to the University of Central Florida to get my master's in education. And been in education since, and I love it. Even though originally I didn't want to be a principal, I can't imagine being anything else now.
Did you participate in any extracurricular activities growing up?
Yes, I was. Soccer was my primary sport through high school. I stopped track and basketball. I was really, really bad at basketball. Which, in the 3 years I was on the team, I scored a total of 4 points across those 3 years. So I didn't have basketball in my future in high school. But and then I also participated in music. I was a percussionist and a drummer, so I was in jazz band and wind ensemble and orchestra and symphonic band through high school.
Were you a bad kid growing up?
No, I was perfectly normal. My parents think I was the best kid they ever had.
What kind of car do you drive right now?
I drive a Ford station wagon. It's not very fancy. It's I don't know. I'm one of those people that just, I'm not overly concerned about cars or impressed by cars. It's like, if I can't get myself a nice Ferrari sports car, then I might as well just drive anything. That's kind of where I'm at. So I'm just driving anything. Gets me to and from work. Still working, knock on wood.
So, what was your last job and why did you leave it?
My last job, I was the assistant principal at Massabesic Middle School down in Waterboro, and I left it to come to this job. Before that, I was a science teacher, and then before that, I was an animal trainer. And I stopped being an animal trainer because Disney's Animal Kingdom opened, and it just got kind of boring, so.
So, why did you come to Mount Ararat for a job?
Well, they had an opening for a principal. I wanted to be a principal. Heard great things about this district. It sounded like a great place to be. So I applied and interviewed with the superintendent, talked to a few teachers from the building, and decided that this would be a great place to come and be a part of.
You enjoy working here at Mount Ararat?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. The students are phenomenal, which is you guys, and the teachers are really good, really committed to the students, and so it makes the job so much easier when you have those two combinations.
How long do you plan to work here? Do you plan just to stay here till you retire, or move out if you find a better job, or?
No, I'd like to stay here until I retire. I mean, it's really hard to know exactly where little paths lead, but I have absolutely no intention of leaving anytime soon.
The worst encounter you've had so far at Mount Ararat, whether it be students, just something in the building, other staff members?
No, nothing with involving people. I think the most difficult was starting here in July. There's no students, no teachers in the building, and I would go to explore just to try to figure out what the building was all about, and I would get lost. And then, you'd go into a stairwell and come out going a different way, and I had no idea where I was. So that was always kind of weird until I got used to it.
If you could change anything about the school, what would you change and why?
If I could change anything about our school, boy, that's a tough one. I mean, because there's a lot of areas, because we're always changing, we're always adjusting based on new research and things like that to make the school better. But if I could change anything, I'd probably be looking to have more opportunities for students to explore what interests them and where their passions lie. More choice in how they demonstrate knowledge instead of having to take a test or something like that. Maybe you would do a better job at producing a video than you would writing a certain piece.
Essay.
Yeah, and so that's what I'd like to see. It's more choice for you to do what interests you, but also then challenging you. I don't want you not to be able to write, but maybe there's ways that we can work in writing, and then also what your passion is.
What was the most fun job you've had besides this job, and why?
Besides this job, the most fun job I had was clearly when I was an animal trainer for Disney. I was hired to help open the Animal Kingdom, and so it was exciting. Not a lot of people get to do that. It was great to work with all those different animals, all those different trainers, all those different cast members at Disney. It was just really a very exciting time to be able to do that. So that's probably where I had the most fun.
Well, those are our questions. Do you have anything else you'd like to say related to the personal questions, the work-related questions, anything, any stories, or just anything else?
No, I think you did a good job of asking questions. Are there any stories you want me to tell?
How about the hippo story? I think that'd be a good one.
The hippo story. Well, as you know, I was an animal trainer at Disney, and we had hippos. And I had never worked with hippos. At the Phoenix Zoo, we didn't have them. So I didn't know that the hippos had this interesting behavior, but it makes sense. So when a hippo is floating around in water, it's eating the leaves, it's floating, and it's doing all this, you don't want to go to the bathroom while you're floating around eating. So they have this adaptation where they kind of back up to shore, they spin their tail a little bit, and the poop flies up on the shore. It's very interesting. Now, when I was working at Disney, the person that was responsible for the hippos this day asked me if I'd come in and help him clean up the area because he was really short-handed. I said, yeah, I don't mind. I'll chip in. I didn't usually do that kind of job. I was more working, training the animals. And I said, yeah, I'll help you clean up. So I was in there, and as I was cleaning, he just yells, "Get your back against the wall!" And I just threw my back up against the wall, and one of the hippos decided to go to the bathroom, and there was just poop flying everywhere. I've never seen, it was sticking to the ceiling, it was flying out the window. It was absolutely, quite possibly one of the most disgusting scenes I've seen. So, very interesting when you're working with animals, you don't think about stuff like that. But I tell you, if I had the choice between being stuck with a hippo or stuck with a lion, I would take the choice to get stuck with a lion. Because if the lion's not hungry, he'll leave you alone. The hippo, he'll snap you in half. So hippos are very aggressive and not so nice, even though they're so big. But that's that story.
No, that's the end of the interview.
Stop.